Welcome to the Dangers and Dragons podcast. All right, get ready for a new story. An epic quest. We've got crazy tales, legendary adventures, unexpected twists, and compelling characters. Yeah, today we're going to be diving into a story called Fractured Time.
Yeah, and you know what really strikes me about Fractured Time right off the bat is its central premise. You've got this protagonist, and they're burdened with visions,
Hmm.
right? Visions of potential futures. And it's not about these like fixed prophecies or anything like that. It's more about these fluid possibilities.
Yeah.
They branch out from every decision, even from when the character's a child. Just imagine, going through life knowing the potential consequences of every path you could take. It's a lot to handle.
Whoa, yeah, it's like having this constant awareness of infinite what ifs. It's like playing out in your mind all the time. That's overwhelming. And what's so interesting to me is the protagonist, she initially sees love as something that's outside of this realm of shifting possibilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she meets Ezra. He doesn't appear in just one vision, but in many of them. And their lives are just so deeply intertwined through these shared experiences, good and bad. It really creates this sense of like a profound connection that was almost meant to be.
Yeah, that's it. The story really emphasizes the strong bond between them, right? Like you see recurring images in the visions. They're dancing, there's conflict, laughter, shared victories, even moments of grief. It paints a vivid picture. You can almost see it, these two lives that are just naturally drawn to each other. But then, this seemingly idyllic path that they're on, it takes a turn, and I mean a sharp one, with the appearance of this stark, almost disturbing vision. We see Ezra at a barricade, right in the middle of a war.
Wow. So yeah, those expected scenes, the ones we're all used to of like happiness and domesticity and all that, they just get completely overshadowed by this harsh reality of conflict, right? Their love story, which felt so unique and positive, like it was almost destined, suddenly has these massive global implications. It's not just about them anymore, it's about how their connection could actually spark a war, and that's got to be a lot to carry to suddenly be faced with that.
Right. It totally changes things,
Right.
right? I mean, think about it. This isn't just two people falling in love anymore. It's about the potential for that love to disrupt everything, to change the whole established order on a huge scale.
Yeah.
And it's here, at this point in the story, that we start to see this tension between what individuals want and how society tries to control things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about that societal aspect a little bit. The story introduces us to this world where the idea of soulmates is actually discouraged. Instead, they have this algorithm, and it makes pairings based on efficiency, like who's going to work best with who. It's all about predictability and order above everything else. But then, boom, the protagonist falls for Ezra, and it throws the whole system into chaos. Ezra's passion, amplified by her knowledge of their future together, becomes this spark, this unexpected spark of rebellion. So it raises a huge question. Can you really control something as unpredictable as human connection? Can you really quantify it? I don't know.
It's a great question, and it's the vulnerability at the heart of this system. This society, it's so meticulously built on order, and yet it can be shaken by something as basic as human connection. What I find so fascinating is that the rebellion doesn't start with politics or ideology. It's all about this powerful personal connection. It suggests that at the end of the day, basic human drives can be way more powerful than any kind of imposed structure.
It's true. And then we come to this incredibly difficult choice that the protagonist has to face. It's all laid out for her in her visions. On one hand, she has a future with Ezra, but it's a future consumed by war and destruction. On the other hand, there's a peaceful world, but their love never fully blossoms. Telling Ezra about these possibilities, it's described as an act of immense cruelty. Not really betrayal in the usual sense, but almost a betrayal of the hope that their love could bring. It makes you wonder, are these visions a gift? Or are they like a prison that traps her between these two terrible choices?
Yeah, you have to really think about the nature of knowing the future. Does it actually give you power? Or does it limit you because the choices are just too painful? This idea of visions as a prison, it's so powerful. She's constantly aware of these outcomes, living with the knowledge of what's going to be lost, no matter what she chooses.
Right, and then in this really touching moment, they make a decision together. It happens in Ezra's garden. It's not this big dramatic goodbye. It's more like a fracturing of their future, a quiet way of saying they still have some control, even when everything feels predetermined. The protagonist chooses a life that feels incomplete. She dedicates the ability to see the future to the very society that tried to deny the power of their love. It's kind of ironic, right? Her smiles become forced, she's not really happy, and it's a huge personal sacrifice for this supposed greater good.
It really highlights the cost, the hidden cost of this society that seems so utopian. They think they're creating a better world with all this order and control, but they're sacrificing individual happiness, real human connection. It's powerful to see her make this choice, knowing how much it's going to hurt, how much she's giving up. It shows just how impossible the situation is.
Yeah, it does. But even though they're apart, their bond still has an impact. People start whispering about Ezra. They see him as this symbol of resistance, leading these underground movements. He can't overthrow the society, but he disrupts it enough to force them to compromise. And the future that the protagonist saw, it starts to change, just a little. It shows how even small choices, personal choices, can have these huge unintended consequences.
The unintended consequences are really fascinating. They try to stop one terrible future and they accidentally create another one, even if it's not as bad.
Yeah.
It reinforces the idea that the future isn't fixed. It's this web of possibilities that could be changed by the smallest actions.
That's true. And the story really explores this bittersweet victory. The protagonist, her life is constantly reminding her of what she's lost, of how this supposedly better future came at the cost of her own happiness. Her work is just a duty. There's no joy in it, just the satisfaction of stopping disaster. And she keeps seeing visions of the life she could have had. Ezra with someone else, scarred but still strong, or those moments where they might be looking at the same sky, connected even though they're apart. It's so powerful. It shows that their bond is still there, even when they're separated.
It's really about the emotional weight of sacrifice.
Right.
The world might be statistically better, but she's living with this loss, with the knowledge of what could have been. And seeing Ezra happy with someone else, that adds another layer to it, right? It's not just her sacrifice, it's accepting that their life together is truly gone. But that shared sky, it suggests a connection that goes beyond the physical.
Right. And it's almost heartbreaking to see that the society praises her, but they have no idea what she gave up. They don't realize that she was more of a symptom of the problems, not the solution. And then slowly, her visions fade. The futures become less clear. The story suggests that this isn't because of the society's control, but because of the impact of their love, of their sacrifice. It makes you think, maybe the most powerful forces for change are the ones we don't even see.
Absolutely. The society thinks it's their own doing, all the rules and structures, but they don't see the real forces at play. The story argues that it's the love, the sacrifices that really change things. It's proof that human connection matters, even when it's not there anymore.
And her final decision, it's not this big rebellion. It's quiet, you know? She buys a train ticket to a small town, a place where the future feels more open. The ending isn't a typical happy ending. It's more like a hint that maybe, just maybe, they'll run into each other again. It's a brief moment of recognition between two strangers who once saved the world. They share a smile, a silent acknowledgement of everything they went through, and then they walk away. Their past is a secret, a bittersweet one. It's not perfect, the story knows that, but it suggests that even in these broken realities, love can still exist.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It doesn't try to tie everything up neatly. It leaves you with a sense of hope, of possibility. They might not have the life they dreamed of, but their love, their choices, they still matter. That smile speaks volumes, and the idea that even imperfect endings can hold a love story is really powerful.
So fractured time, huh? What an incredible story. It makes you think about so much the weight of knowing the future, the power of love to change even the most rigid systems, the sacrifices people make.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? If you could see the future, would it be a gift or a curse? Would you be able to make those choices, especially when love is involved?
And that question of sacrificing your own happiness for the greater good, that's something we all face, even without seeing the future. Where do we draw the line between what we want and what society needs?
Exactly. Fractured time leaves us thinking about fate and free will, about how strong connections can be, even across different realities. And it reminds us that even small acts of defiance, even quiet ones, can change the world in ways we never expect.
It makes you think about all the what-ifs in your own life, right? And how even those imperfect endings can still be meaningful.
It's true. Love can be such a powerful force, even when it doesn't go the way we expect, even when it doesn't have a happy ending.
And that's it for this week's Dangers and Dragons podcast. Make sure to rate and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us out. Join us next time for another incredible adventure.